A friend of mine got laid off last March. He's 58 years old. He worked for the same insurance company for 27 years. He had a 401k that he thought was going to take care of him. He had a mortgage he thought he was almost done paying off. He had 2 grown kids and a wife and a quiet plan to retire at 65. Then the layoff hit. Then his 401k lost 22% of its value in the same quarter. Then his wife's hours got cut at the hospital. Then the property tax bill on the house went up another 11%. When I sat across from him at a diner 3 weeks ago, he looked at me and said something that I have not been able to stop thinking about. He said, "I did everything they told me to do, and I'm in worse shape than my grandfather was at my age, and he never finished high school." That sentence is the entire reason I am making this video, because 2 days after that conversation, I drove out to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and I sat down at a kitchen table with an Amish farmer named Jacob Miller. Jacob is 47 years old. He has 6 children. He owns 38 acres of farmland outright. He has no mortgage, no credit cards, no car loan, no student loan debt for his kids, no medical debt despite paying out of pocket for 2 childbirths and a broken leg last spring, and no money in any 401k, IRA, or retirement account whatsoever. By every metric the modern American financial industry uses, Jacob Miller should be in a financial crisis. He is, instead, the calmest person I have spoken to in the last 6 months. His total household expenses last year were $14,200. His annual income from his farm and a small woodworking business he runs on the side was $61,000. You can do the math. Jacob is what the Amish call financially established by the age of 35. The cultural expectation in his community is that a man should be debt-free, own his land, and have enough surplus production to support his family and contribute to the broader community by age 40 to 45. Most Amish men hit that target. The ones who do not are not shamed for it. They are simply considered to still be in the building phase of life. There is no retirement age in the Amish community. There is also no retirement crisis. Those 2 facts are not unrelated. In 1974, the United States Congress passed a piece of legislation called the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, known as ERISA. The law created the legal framework for what eventually became the modern 401k system. The same year, the individual retirement account was first introduced. Together, these 2 systems shifted the responsibility for retirement security from employers to individual workers and shifted the management of retirement savings from pensions to investment firms. Within a decade, the entire structure of American retirement had changed. Defined benefit pensions, which had been the standard since World War II, began disappearing. By 2024, only 11% of American private sector workers had access to a traditional pension. The rest were on their own, expected to navigate a financial system that had been designed by the same Wall Street firms that profited from every transaction inside it. In the same 50 years, the average American household debt has grown from roughly $7,000 to over $103,000 in inflation-adjusted dollars. The American household savings rate has dropped from 13% to 4%. The percentage of Americans over 65 with no retirement savings whatsoever has climbed to 49%. The Amish, who never participated in any of it, have an effective community bankruptcy rate of less than 0.1%. The American average is just over 6%, 60 times higher. I asked Jacob how his community ended up so far apart from the rest of the country financially. He told me they follow 5 rules, the same 5 rules his grandfather followed. The same 5 rules his great-grandfather followed when the family first arrived in Pennsylvania from Switzerland in 1832. Today I am going to walk you through all 5 of them. But first, I have to tell you something I have not told anyone outside my immediate family. After my conversation with my friend at the diner, and after my visit to Jacob's farm, I went home and ran the numbers on my own household. I am 41 years old. My wife and I have what financial advisors would call a respectable retirement portfolio. We have done everything the system told us to do. If you applied the 5 Amish rules to my own finances over the last 20 years, my household net worth today would be roughly $340,000 higher than it actually is. $340,000. The cost in real numbers of doing what I was told instead of what works. Let me show you the 5 rules. Rule 1. Never borrow money you cannot repay within 1 year. This is the rule that, in Jacob's community, separates the people who are financially established by 35 from the people who are still building at 50. The Amish do not have a religious prohibition against borrowing. They borrow regularly. They borrow to buy land. They borrow to build barns. They borrow to start small businesses. What they do not do is borrow money that requires more than 1 year to repay. The mechanism that makes this work is community lending. Most Amish loans are not from banks. They come from a community fund, sometimes called a brotherhood fund or a deacon's fund, that is collectively maintained by the families in the district. When a young man wants to buy a parcel of farmland, he goes to the community fund. They evaluate his request. If they approve it, they lend him the money at 0 interest with the expectation that he will repay it within 12 months. How is this possible? Because the community lends at amounts the borrower can realistically repay through 1 year of productive work, not 10 years, not 30, 1 year. The result is a community where debt cycles are measured in months, not decades, where compound interest works for the borrower instead of against them, where a young couple buying their first farm enters into adulthood with the same financial structure their parents had instead of trapped inside a mortgage that will define the next 30 years of their working life. Compare this to the modern American mortgage. A typical 30-year mortgage on a $350,000 home at current interest rates requires the borrower to pay approximately $750,000 over the full term. The bank receives $400,000 of pure interest on top of the original loan. Almost $500,000 paid by a single American household to a single financial institution in exchange for the right to live in a house. The Amish never accepted that arrangement. They built a community-scale alternative that does the same thing, provides land and shelter for a young family without the $500,000 tax to Wall Street. Rule 2. Your children are your retirement. This rule is the one that most non-Amish Americans struggle with, because we have been conditioned to think about retirement as an individual problem solved by individual savings. In the Amish community, retirement is not an individual problem. It is a multi-generational arrangement, and it begins the day a child is born. Amish parents do not save for retirement in any conventional sense. They do not have 401k accounts. They do not contribute to IRAs. They do not invest in the stock market. What they do is invest in their children and their children's productive capacity at a level that is almost unimaginable to most modern Americans. When an Amish son turns 18, his parents typically gift him a starting stake. This might be a small parcel of land, a herd of starter livestock, a workshop with tools, or seed capital for a small business. The parents continue to support the son through the early years of his independent work life. By the time the son is 35 and financially established, he is expected and culturally bound to provide care and support for his parents in their later years. This is not vague cultural pressure. It is a structured economic arrangement. Most Amish farms include a separate dwelling called a Grossdaadi house, literally grandfather house, built on the same property as the main farmhouse. When the parents reach the age where they want to step back from active farm management, they move into the Grossdaadi house. The son and his family take over the main farm. The parents continue to participate in family and community life, but their housing, food, and medical care are provided by the next generation. There is no retirement account because there does not need to be one. The retirement plan is the relationship. For the average American who has been taught to manage their own retirement entirely through financial instruments, this arrangement sounds either impractical or invasive. But here is the financial reality the modern system has obscured. The average American spends roughly $260,000 raising a single child to age 18. They then spend another $80,000 to $200,000 on that child's college education. After 22 years and approximately $400,000 of investment, most American parents receive almost nothing in tangible return from that investment for the rest of their lives. The Amish make the same investment, actually slightly less because no college tuition is involved, and they receive a lifetime of care, support, housing, and security in return. The math is not even close. Rule 3. Own your tools and build what you can build yourself. Jacob walked me through his workshop on the second afternoon I visited him. It is a small wooden building, about 30 feet by 40 feet, attached to the side of his barn. Inside it, he has a hand-built workbench, a pedal-powered lathe, a treadle-powered saw, a small forge, hand tools that belonged to his father and grandfather, and a variety of jigs and fixtures he built himself for specific repeating tasks. The total monetary value of everything in that workshop, if he had to purchase it new today, would be approximately $4,000. He inherited about half of it. He built or traded for the rest. That workshop has produced, over the last 22 years, approximately $850,000 worth of furniture, custom woodwork, and farm repairs. A 200-to-1 return on capital sustained over 2 decades. The Amish principle is simple. You should own the tools that allow you to do your own work. You should not rent tools, lease tools, or depend on subscription-based services to access the work you do for your livelihood. You should not outsource repairs you can perform yourself. You should not pay a specialist for any task you can reasonably learn to do. This is not anti-modernist ideology. It is mathematics. Every dollar you spend renting, leasing, subscribing, or outsourcing is a dollar you do not get to keep. Every skill you do not learn is a permanent leak in your monthly budget that never closes. The modern American household leaks money through dozens of these channels simultaneously. Lawn care services, cleaning services, car repair services, plumbing services, subscriptions for streaming, music, fitness apps, meditation apps, productivity apps, restaurant meals, coffee shop drinks, lawn equipment that gets used twice a year and then sits in a garage that costs $400 a month to own. Jacob's household has no leaks, almost nothing is rented, almost nothing is subscribed to. Almost everything is owned, maintained, and repaired by the people who use it. The result is a household that retains nearly every dollar it earns, instead of bleeding 30 to 40% of its income to the rental economy. Tánim insan alam hithan tather nonid. This rule is the one that made my friend at the diner, when I told him about my visit to Jacob, actually laugh out loud. The Amish do not buy things online. They do not have Amazon Prime. They do not see targeted ads. They do not have personalized recommendation algorithms convincing them every 14 minutes that there is a product they did not know they needed. The result is that they buy almost nothing impulsively. Every purchase in an Amish household is a deliberate decision made in advance, often discussed between husband and wife at the kitchen table, planned for a specific trip into town, and executed during a single physical visit to a specific store. The single biggest financial leak in the modern American household is not a major expense. It is the cumulative effect of thousands of small impulsive purchases driven by the convenience of one-click ordering, the persistence of personalized advertising, and the elimination of friction between desire and purchase. A 2023 study by the National Retail Federation found that the average American household spends approximately $5,400 per year on impulse purchases, defined as items purchased without prior planning. Most of those purchases are made through screens. Most of those items are used briefly, forgotten quickly, or never used at all. If you took that $5,400 per year and invested it instead in a standard index fund over a 30-year working life, it would compound to approximately $620,000. The American consumer economy is built almost entirely on the absence of this single rule. Without impulsive online purchasing, most consumer brands could not survive their current revenue projections. The Amish removed themselves from this economy not through religious dogma, but through a simple practical rule: buy nothing on a screen. Force every purchase into the friction of a physical trip, a physical store, a physical interaction with the object before you take it home. The friction is the feature. The friction is what protects the money. From Grossdaadi. Rule 5. The community is the insurance. This is the last rule, and the one that ties the entire system together. The Amish do not have homeowners insurance in any meaningful conventional sense. They do not have life insurance. They do not have car insurance because they do not have cars. Most do not have health insurance. Many do not even file federal taxes in the same way most Americans do, because they have negotiated exemptions for Social Security and several other federal programs that they neither contribute to nor draw from. In place of all of these systems, they have one thing: each other. When an Amish barn burns down, the entire community shows up the following week to rebuild it. Hundreds of men, sometimes 1,000. The barn is reconstructed in a single weekend. The cost to the family who lost the barn is zero. The labor is contributed freely by the community, because every family in the community knows that if their barn burns down next year, the same neighbors will show up at their farm to rebuild theirs. When a child is born, the women of the district bring meals to the family for the first month. When someone falls ill, neighbors take over the daily chores. When an elder dies, the community organizes everything from the burial to the financial settlement of the estate. The American insurance industry is a $1.4 trillion annual business in the United States. It exists to provide the same function, protection against catastrophic loss, that the Amish community provides for free. The difference is that the insurance industry takes 30 to 40% of every premium dollar as overhead and profit, while the community arrangement takes zero. The Amish are not anti-modern. They are anti-middleman. Every dollar you pay to a financial institution, an insurance company, a subscription service, or a retirement fund manager is a dollar that does not stay in your household. Multiplied over a lifetime, these middlemen consume hundreds of thousands of dollars per family. The Amish have systematically removed almost all of them from their economic structure. The result is a community that lives on roughly one-third the income of the surrounding American population, while ending up wealthier in real terms by retirement age. From Grossdaadi. The Grossdaadi. When I left Jacob's farm on my second day, I sat in my car in his gravel driveway for a long time before I started the engine. I have driven that same drive home many times now, from many different Amish farms, after many different conversations like the one I had with Jacob. And every time, I think the same thing. The Amish are not doing anything secret. They are not hiding anything. They are not even refusing modern life. Most of them use modern medicine when they need it, modern hospitals when they have to, modern tools for their businesses when it makes sense. What they are refusing is the financial architecture that the rest of America has built around itself in the last 50 years. The 30-year mortgage, the 401k, the credit card, the car loan, the student loan, the endless subscription, the impulsive online purchase, the insurance premium that consumes 8% of household income every month. Every single one of these things is a recent invention. None of them existed in their modern form before 1974. Every single one of them transfers wealth every single month from millions of American households to a small number of financial institutions whose entire business model depends on the absence of the 5 rules Jacob walked me through. The Amish were never told these systems were inevitable. They were just shown the math, generation after generation, by their own grandparents, and they made the obvious decision. Most of us were never shown the math at all. You were never supposed to know. It was that simple. Now you do. Drop your state in the comments and tell me one thing. Which of the 5 rules is the one you cannot believe nobody ever explained to you when you were starting out? Because the patterns in this comment section are starting to map something the entire $1.4 trillion American financial industry has spent 50 years pretending does not exist. That the way most Americans handle money today is not how humans handled money for almost all of human history, and the recent invention has not been working for most of the people inside it. Hit subscribe, not for me, for what comes next. Because next week I am going to show you the Amish education system that turns out adults who are out earning the college-educated American average by age 30, in a community where almost no one finishes high school. And the 1968 Department of Education document that quietly redefined what counts as a successful outcome before the modern student loan industry took over American higher education. The knowledge was never lost.